So God has ordered it, but it's still very, very beautiful out there today. And if you get a chance to enjoy it, I'm sure you will thank the Lord for it. Well, we will, Lord willing, be joining you from Florida tomorrow, and on Friday. We got to take a quick trip. I was supposed to be preaching in Wisconsin this week, and it got canceled due to some emergency. And so my wife said, since we were supposed to already be gone, I think it's time to see the grandbabies. And so we found some really, really inexpensive round trip tickets. And so we'll leave tonight after the evening service and spend a couple of days, come back early morning on Saturday. And so it'll be good to see those grandbabies. And if we get to see our kids, that'll be wonderful too. I'm just kidding. We love to see our kids and our grandkids. All right. Matthew chapter 8. I really think that it is important for us to just zero in on the name of Christ that deals specifically with his healing. Jehovah Rapha, God who heals. And sometimes you say, but God doesn't always heal. Well, God doesn't always heal the way we would want. And he's not always addressing healing what we think is important. So, for instance, if we have a spiritual sickness, if we have a spiritual need that physical sickness can address, he is healing what is really most important by giving us a physical ailment, by giving us a physical limitation. He told Paul, when Paul asked 3 times, let this thorn be taken away. And God said, no, you need the thorn to be dependent. And so in your weakness, I can make you strong. And Paul said, okay, then I will be weak and I will not ask for it to be taken away, because you are healing what is most important. So I think it's important for all of us to at least honestly evaluate. We don't know what God knows, and we're not his counselor to tell him what to do. What we are encouraged by in this passage is God is able. He's able to do whatever is consistent with his will and his nature. And so here we have Jesus going to Peter's house, verse number 14, and saw Peter's wife's mother laid and sick with a fever, and he touched her hand, and the fever left her, and she arose and ministered unto them. When the evening was come, they brought unto him many that were possessed with devils, and he cast out the spirits with his word, and healed all that were sick, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying, himself took our infirmities and bare our sicknesses. God doesn't let anything escape his notice. He notices every detail of our lives. He knows where we're struggling. He knows why we're struggling. He knows whether we're in need of our faith to be increased, or whether we're operating in strong, mature faith. He knows. We're not in control. And the lie of our flesh and the lie of the devil, the lie of our world, is to think that we can actually run our own life and we're okay. We're completely in charge. And it seems for a period of time that it seems like we are, that we're actually making all of our decisions and life is working really, really well. And I remind people, life can operate super smoothly until it doesn't. And the day will come where it doesn't. And these bodies are going to wear out. And when they begin to wear out, we're going to realize that we're not going to be here forever, and we're not in control of making sure that we stay alive forever, because we're not going to. We also can't control things, circumstances, and events that come into the lives of people we love. And so we are reminded we're dependent. God does know all of these things, and he does notice but he knows what we really need and when we need it. And he is going to, by his grace, confront us with our independent spirit, with our pride and arrogance, thinking we know more than God. We can control a situation. We can make an outcome what we want it to be. And then sometimes when it doesn't go that way, we become incredibly despondent. We become discouraged. Sometimes even we get angry with God. I mean, I prayed. I told him what I wanted. I told him that I believed he could, and I don't understand why he didn't. Well, it might be because you're not right and you're not in control, and you couldn't make the outcome be what you wanted it to be, and that you always were going to be dependent upon the wisdom of God. And God is healing what is most important, even if he decides the ultimate healing of a person physically is to take them to heaven, where there will be no more sickness, no more sadness, no more separation. He is going to bring their faith to sight. He's going to bring their sanctification to complete maturity. What a wonderful reality for those of us in Christ, knowing that if God chooses, he can take away the pain and suffering in this life and bring us to full maturity. And so, as we look at this passage, I just think it's important for us to realize that we can go to God when we're physically suffering, when we're emotionally suffering, when we're spiritually suffering. We can go to God when we're socially suffering, when we've been wronged by somebody that we love dearly, or disappointed in somebody that we love dearly, or people that we're trying to befriend or establish a relationship pushes us away. Whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter whether it's physical, spiritual, social, or even financial. We can run to God and ask him to heal. But God does know what we need, and he will be addressing what really needs healing. And sometimes what needs to be healed is a spiritual ailment, and the physical ailment helps us to be honest about it and to address it. And that sometimes is the only way God can help get our attention, or to remind us that we're dependent in all areas. Sometimes it's financial. God will give us a financial need to remind us how dependent we are, or a financial need that brings us to God to remind him, to remind us that we need him spiritually to grow, to be more like Jesus, to keep our focus right and our priorities right. And so we serve a God who heals, Jehovah Rapha. And so when you look at these stories and you see the miraculous event, you see the power of God. Remember, the same God who healed them is the same God who can heal you. You just have to be willing to let God decide what he needs to heal in what time, or if at all, and in what manner, because he is able. What a wonderful thing to live dependent. Hope we'll do that today. God bless you. I'll look forward to seeing you.